Just Like Us, for LGBT young people.
Hey, James.
Hi, Sarah. Oh, that was very hesitant. Ooh, like a little mouse.
He's not ready for this
Hey,
podcast.
Sarah. I'm definitely ready. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
I can't believe it's been a whole month since the last podcast.
I can't believe you won't let me introduce the podcast.
Okay, introduce the podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Just Like Us podcast,
Mm-hmm.
where we talk about LGBT stuff because we're LGBT.
I made Sarah come up with a New Year's resolution before the podcast, and she's told me it sucks.
Okay, I've got 3 words written down in my notes. Be more chill. That's my whole thing. But also be more chill is kind of stressful for me because I have anxiety. So it's very much like
so it's like
I think I just pay too much attention to small things and not enough to big things. So I think it's be less chill in certain areas but be more chill in over stressing about, I don't know, my socks or something. So,
my New Year's resolution, thanks for asking, is I am gonna stop hate reading stuff online.
Oh, that's a big one for you.
I think, apart from, I am fairly engaged, obviously, with, LGBT stuff, and part of it's, I need to stop reading comments on, so, there'll be, every time there's a video about trans issues on Facebook, I will see, 500 comments, and I'm and I know that people are, going to be transphobic or whatever, it's not
It's
helping
the thing where it's
me.
not surprising. You're always looking for stuff that you know is going to be horrible. It's a weird thing to do.
Speaking of, though, what are we talking about this week?
We are talking about online communities, which is
a
one that me and James have actually bonded over quite a lot.
You're listening to Just Like Us, the monthly show for LGBT young people.
In 2012, I became obsessed with a little book that I like to call The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And so I got so into this, and then I found out John Green, the author, has a YouTube channel with his brother. And I started watching those videos, and through that I got very involved in the YouTube community. And obviously YouTube is such a big,
huge community
thing for LGBT people our age as well, because there's so many. I mean, it's literally, if we don't have representation in all other forms of media, at the very least you can go and you can click subscribe to somebody who's going to give you a video of them being gay every week, or being trans every week, or being, that was such a thing for me. I used to love Tyler Oakley's videos and Hannah Hart. For our generation, they're kind of LGBT icons.
I was going to say, not to sound, really old, but, I feel like we've seen that, grow. As in terms of, LGBT representation, even online, the amount of stuff you could find, 5 years ago or whatever, compared to now is, ridiculous. Especially with the YouTubers, it's such a huge thing, which I'm really grateful for, as in, because it was a big part of my, journey as well.
So I was on YouTube and I was watching all these gay videos, and so from YouTube people would mention Tumblr all the time, and in the comments people would talk about Tumblr so much, and so I kind of eventually got a Tumblr account, which was the beginning of my descent.
We love it.
And on Tumblr, this is the main thing. On Tumblr I found a huge community of LGBT plus people. And I think also that was my introduction very much, and for a lot of people our age, that was our introduction to feminism and LGBT issues and race issues and all sorts.
Feeling that was something that you could talk about, and then it wasn't something that it was just the adults.
I had no idea about all these different identities that people have and stuff, and that was such a kind of formative thing for me. And it felt like I could genuinely go and be at home on Tumblr because I had all this information that I was really keen, and I wasn't getting it from anywhere else. And it was people who had a similar sense of humor and were very like-minded, and that was so important for me.
You're listening to Just Like Us, the monthly show for LGBT young people.
I was also very much into YouTubers, but it wasn't really an LGBT thing for me at the time. I was into Dan and Phil and that whole thing and that whole...
Oh yeah, I don't think I knew it was an LGBT thing until... Actually recently. Whoa, hold on. Here's a statistic. So 50% of LGBT plus youth reported having at least one close online friend, compared to only 19% of non-LGBT plus youth.
So that really shows you that it's such a part of the LGBT experience.
And I think the thing is as well, like I said, I didn't realise it was an LGBT thing I was doing at the time.
Yeah, I think so. That was when I kind of was on Tumblr and in that whole sphere, and I kind of... I don't think I had really accepted things properly yet at that point. I was kind of just I just love discourse. I love feminism. I love the LGBTs.
I'm an ally.
I'm an LGBT supporter. But then I was on Twitter for a while because... So this is where it gets a bit difficult because I have to expose my entire past. But on Twitter, so there are people who have their personal Twitter accounts where they just talk about, ordered a Chinese takeaway. This is great. And then there's another side where when people are interested in things like, say, like fandoms, so like One Direction and stuff like that, which is where mine like stemmed. Like there's a whole community there, which like it's called Stan Twitter, like the like fandom Twitters. It kind of just started out as you kind of follow them to get updates on like, what's Harry Styles doing now? What's he wearing? What's his blood type? Like that kind of thing. But then like...
What's his mother's maiden name?
It's true. Cox, by the way. But,
I hate that you actually knew that. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, so then, and then it would... But then you would follow people and they would follow you back and it would, like, you would be then, like, mutuals, like, friends. And then that turned into, like, a whole community of people, like, reacting to things at the same time. So if a new song came out, we'd be like, I love this song, or you'd like tweet them and stuff like that. But then it also turned out it was kind of a thing of looking around and realizing everyone I was following was LGBT. Like everyone, it was my first experience of seeing straight people as a minority. Like it was cool because we would then like tweet about our lives, like in general. We'd be like, you know, just woken up, had some pasta. I don't know if you had pasta first thing in the morning, but it's a thing. Like, as I think you would just
in
tweet
the dark
like,
days of Stan Twitter,
yeah,
had pasta in the morning, there were no laws.
But then there was also kind of talking about like really deep things like, oh, I wish I could come out to my mum, or I don't know if I should come out to these people.
It's such a supportive environment.
Yeah, and it was just really great in terms of coming out specifically. Like I was out online years before I was out to anyone in real life, like even my friends. Like it's such an interesting, I think it also links to that idea that you don't just come out once, like you come out again and again.
Coming out, yeah.
But it's also nice to have a space where you don't feel like you have to come out. Like it's kind of a thing where it's just accepted.
You're listening to Just Like Us, the monthly show for LGBT young people.
I mean, we're in a very specific, social circle, obviously, but almost all of our friends, like, were part of kind of LGBT communities online.
Yeah.
It seems to be such a kind of universal thing for LGBT people our age, and younger, and, like, a couple of years older as well.
Exactly.
It's just a very cute thing, which is why LGBT people make such great memes on Twitter nowadays, because we've been around since the beginning.
It's true.
If you're listening at home,
if you enjoyed this,
get in touch with people on online communities.
Yeah, don't feel afraid to like reach out, because everyone is kind of looking for those. Like, keep
there's
an
so
eye
many
out for
resources online.
Yeah, I think it's just a great thing to take advantage of.
I'd say sign up for Tumblr, but it might ruin your life, because I spent so much time on that.
That is true. If you're about to do GCSEs or something, just don't do it.
Don't sign up for Tumblr.
It's not worth it. You can be
but
gay
do
later.
if you need some representation, because it's good fun.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see you next month.
We will see you next month.
In February. Have a good day.
Bye.
You've been listening to Just Like Us, the monthly show for LGBT young people. The music was by Twisterium. We come into schools too. Young people, teachers and parents can find us at www.justlikeus.org.